not for your PhD, which is, not very difficult to get. I am respecting you for your humility, because that's the sign of education. He has thought of these ideas of giving you autonomy, letting you do what you want to do, with, of course, certain limitations. And our visitor, our guest from Tamil Nadu, who has come to give the keynote address, he is a very learned person. Our advisor from Bangalore, our new registrar, an intellectual, because he has grown a beard. All intellectuals have beards. And professor, who is now in charge. The man has been working very hard. I saw him this morning. He has not even had his breakfast. He had one neer dosa and the other one half, and he went away. And then came back and had 2 sips of tea and again went away. Don't be so tense. Things will move on. Things go on, According to quantum physics, things happen. They're called haps. We only unnecessarily sweat and fret and fumes, but things go on. That flower was blocking the thing, it had to fall off, it fell off. So that these things happen, world goes on, despite all our efforts. And we think we do it. No. Friends, I must congratulate Bhairappa for this initiation of giving you more autonomy. Because what happens normally is, as he was telling me, you people pay a lot of affiliation fees. Then, you don't get so much of attention from the university. You're indignant, you're angry, you're frustrated. So now he thought, as he was telling me, not Muhammad coming to the mountain going to Muhammad. So the university is coming to your doorsteps and letting you have your own sort of autonomous university. Autonomous. You govern yourself, self-governance. So in future, you don't have to worry about the university breathing down your neck for everything. The university will not breathe down your neck, and you will probably have respect in the university because you head the autonomous college, either as the director, principal, or correspondent, or owner, or what have you. This is a good system, actually. This is a system that should go on, because universities in future will be so big that they will not be able to cater to all these colleges with the same vigor, with the same enthusiasm. So, India is a growing country. By 2050, we'll have over 800 million young men and women looking for higher education. So we should have, if we go by the proportion of the Western universities, we should have about 6,550 universities in India in the next 20 years, which is not possible because it's not feasible to have that. So the private players in the field also will have to chip in their lot. Like in the United States of America, where 90% of the universities are private, only 10% are funded by the state. But then with all this saying, everything going on, I don't think higher education in India is healthy. If you allow me to say, education in India is unhealthy. Even primary education is unhealthy. Why do I use the word healthy, unhealthy? Because, being a doctor, we are used to that word. I think, I would say, it is sick. Higher education is sick. Why? What kind of students are we producing? You go home and ask yourself a question when you're alone. What is my end product? How many good human beings have you produced? Can you cross your heart and say, we produce every student that comes out our portals as a good human being? Education's aim is not to make a wealthy career as it is being taught in India today. I sometimes hear on the television the industrial tycoon saying that the syllabus is not suitable for my company. Who the hell does he think he is? Are we producing people for his industry as workforce? We are producing, education must produce not wealthy careers, but healthy minds. Please remember this. Aim of higher education is to produce individuals with a healthy mind. Where is the mind? Never mind. What is healthy mind? A healthy mind is one which is filled with enthusiasm to work. How many of us have enthusiasm to work? Which is a very healthy trend. There's a subtle difference. You ask people in the morning, where are you going? I have to go to work. Mark those words, I have to go to work. I have to go to get my salary. Otherwise, I don't want to go to work. How many people will say, I want to go to work? How many people would say on a Sunday, I want to go to my department because I have got some fulfilled work. I have some research project which is in the middle. I want to go. No. Everyone says, oh, Sunday is a holiday. Yugadi is a holiday. The Deepavali is a holiday. So people have to go to work. There is an unhealthy mind. A healthy mind says, I want to go to work. I have to go to work is different from I want to go to work. You ask a child today, do you want to go to school? You must see the parents in the morning pulling their children, dragging their children to the auto rickshaw or what have you to send them to school. But on a Sunday, the child is so happy, I tell you, so happy. Which means our schools have become like prisons. A time must come when the school is so attractive that the child must tell the parents on Sunday, I want to go to school because I am feeling bored at home. We must make them attractive. There are schools like that in the West, some of them. This is called pesto lezzis, where the child is so happy because it is happier in the school than at home. Higher educational institutions have become really bad. Let me tell you that. Before you get autonomy, think of this. They have become rote learning institutions. Simply from morning till evening, you make people mug up the facts which change before the student probably gets out of the portals of the college. Cicero, the Roman thinker, once said, half of what man knows today will be proved wrong in another 5 years' time. But the problem with mankind always will be to know which half it is. You all graduated. I still remember 25 years ago, I was invited to Mysore University to give a lecture to the professors there on higher education. When I told them, you got to innovate and teach, during the lunchtime, so many of them were saying, sir, inta ideal la kodabedi sir, nam notes ella bardagide. You know that? If a teacher is one who transfers information, not even knowledge, information from a textbook onto the student's notebook, in the bargain not letting the student understand it, nor himself understanding it, is a menace to education. I want teachers to be innovators. I want teachers to be thinkers. I want them to motivate students to learn. In my concept, a good teacher is one who makes the student want to learn. Remember that? A teacher is one who makes the student want to learn. Who learns? The student learns. Every teacher, whether you are a professor in the college or whether you are a teacher in the elementary school, you are like a midwife. What does the midwife do? She stands by the side of a pregnant mother in pain, coaxing her, cajoling her, empathizing with her, sympathizing with her, provoking her. But who delivers at the end of the day? Not the midwife, but the mother. So in the school, what happens? You deliver. No, that should change. Your job is to make the subject so interesting. You heighten his appetite on the subject. The student says, aha, if it is so nice, I must study that. Teacher is like a menu in a restaurant. You read the menu, it is so exciting. And then you start watering in the mouth and you want to have that dish. So the teacher must be a good menu for the students. Having said that we are completely off the mark in higher education, that we are not making healthy minds. What is the second part of the healthy mind? Enthusiasm to be compassionate. This is very important. How many in society are compassionate today? You see everywhere, even the so-called intellectuals, they are disturbing peace in the society. For what, I don't know. There's an old saying, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Na bruyat, satyam apriyam. Even if it is truth, you should not say when the atmosphere is charged, atmosphere is very tense, you should not throw something saying that I am telling the truth. Where is the truth? Khalil Gibran so beautifully describes, there is nothing called the truth. You may think somebody is bad or somebody is good, but that may not be the truth. It is a truth, and it may change as B truth later on. But these intellectuals who are trained in the so-called portals of higher education, both here and abroad, some of them are doom school and all kinds of schools. These are the people who disturb peace in our country. And what is the consequence? Poor man gets killed. Innocent man gets killed. Innocent poor man gets killed. In any calamity, the innocent people lose their lives. Now all this is because we have not thought, we have not audited, we have never thought about what kind of products are we sending out to the society. Don't you think you have a responsibility to see that society becomes tranquil? So that society becomes productive, the country progresses? We don't want that. We simply want people claiming that I know. You know, the man who introduced me told me, oh, this man is this, that, and all. Don't believe all that. I am reminded of what Goethe said. Goethe was the greatest man in Germany who supposed to have learnt everything. He said, I now know philosophy, physiology, jurisprudence, medicine, even alas theology, from end to end with labor scheme. But here I stand, O fool, with all my lore, no wiser than before. Education must look for wisdom. Wisdom is something different from knowledge. We are aiming at improving the knowledge of the student. That too with what? Information. And today, with the information overload from the internet, the student couldn't care less for the teacher. He thinks I can read better in Google than this teacher is saying. So most institutions today don't teach, but most of those students are in the tutorial colleges in the evening. I was recently in a college in Bangalore, supposed to be a very prestigious college. Hardly any teacher takes class there. But all those teachers are very active in the tutorial college in the evening. Can you believe that? Now, why do you have to have a college? Why do you have to have a university? We can all have excellent tutorial colleges. What do? They make you mug up. Mug up. Now, this kind of an education today has produced something that in India, today we don't have anything earth-shaking discovery that is worth writing about, which has set the Ganges River on fire, or it's worth writing home. Why? We can't think refutatively. We have become so used to repetitive thinking that you read the book, repeat the book, and think that's the end of it. No. Karl Popper said, Karl Popper was a professor of science philosophy in the London School of Economics in the 50s. He was a colossus. Karl Popper so beautifully said, knowledge advances not by repeating known facts, but by refuting false dogmas. I'll tell you, physics changed nearly 100 years ago in 1925. Almost 100 years ago. No, 90 years ago. But have we changed that in the schools, colleges? Even today we teach the same old conventional solid state physics to students. Uncertainty principle of Werner Heisenberg, propounded in 1925, changed physics, changed chemistry. And biology has changed so much that evolutionary biology does not believe in Big Bang and we are coming from monkeys. If we understand evolutionary biology and tell that to the students will become better students, because we are here because of the donation of a DNA from every germ. This world was inhabited by germs for 2 billion years, and each one of them thought, let us donate a DNA, and became the first nucleated cell, the zygote that you were in your mother's womb. So we have come here because of someone else. So we have to be here for someone else. Paropakarartham idam shariram. And that is what the educational field should tell the students. Having said all that, let me tell you, Professor Bhairappa's ideas of giving you autonomy is excellent. I congratulate him. But there is always the downside, the flip side of it. And that is, when once you get an autonomy, you should not think you can do anything and get away with it. I know of autonomous universities changing the grades of their students. Now this menace has come from the West. A recent audit showed in Harvard, Stanford, the grades of students are changed. The student is allowed to change his grade if the grade is bad, because they don't want a Harvard student to have B grade. He must always have A grade. You get into Harvard by hook or crook. Somebody by merit, others with money, whatever it is. But once you get into Harvard, you are A grade all the time. But luckily, in that country at least, there is what's called student assessment. And in the student assessment recently, the Ivy League universities, Princeton, Yale, Harvard, Stanford, Berkeley, all of them have got C grade. The only state university, the University of Penn State University in Pennsylvania, is the one with an A grade. Do you know the reason? 40 to 50% of the professors in these universities are on the payroll of the industry. In India, there was a craze. We must tie up with the industry. And I remember still the time, about 20 years ago, industry, academia, marriage. Luckily, it was a short-term marriage and divorced quickly. Because if the industry is in cahoots with education, the student suffers. The industry wants to sell its products. And education is not selling products. Education is not a business. You know, industry wants money for its shareholders, right? Nobody is prepared to do anything with the shareholder suffers. That is why when the first industry came in 1802, William Wordsworth, one of that romantic English poet, wrote this poem called "The World is Too Much with Us." Because today it's money that speaks. If you make money by hook or crook, society respects you. That is why I am worried about the educational field, because all these crooks have come into educational field to get respect as educationists. They have an educational institution, maybe a university. They are called educationists. But if you go back to their background, how did they get that money? Nobody bothers about it. Do you know what William Wordsworth wrote? The world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending, we seem to have lost our powers. Little do we see in nature that's ours. We have lost our soul, a sordid boon. We have sold our soul, in fact. We have sold our soul to the devil. So your responsibility is to see that you do things honestly, authentically. Ultimately, it is authenticity that matters. Look at the Sanatana Dharma saying that in the Rig Veda. Satyam, Brihadritam Ugram, Vishwam Dharayanti. If you want this world to go on, there are only two wheels. For this world to move, there are two wheels. Satyam, truth, the best truth that you can get hold of. And Ritam, ethics. What kind of Ritam? Brihadritam. And how applied? Ugram. If you apply ethics sternly, strictly to your life, you become a good human being. And I want every one of you, either you are a principal or an owner or a chancellor or whatever, I want you to be very honest. I know of colleges where the answers are dictated in the exam hall by the staff members themselves. Are you surprised? I can give you any number of instances. All that you want to know is, our college must have better result. Because tomorrow you advertise the result in the paper. Why? To attract more students. See, it's all business. It's all interconnected. I still remember, I was a chairman of a NAC inspection in a big institution in Raipur. So I went to the institution. There were big people. They said so many things about it. And when we went there, the institution was so bad. So I called the chairman to a room separately and said, look, today is the first day of the inspection. Your institution is so bad that if you allow me to go on with the inspection, you will get an F grade. He was trying to influence, by all means. So I said, whatever you do, you will get an F grade. Maybe, G or something like that, but not beyond that. But I'll tell you something. Now we will say, you withdraw your application. Okay? But sir, I will lose my money, sir, which I have paid to the UGC. I said, doesn't matter, that money is nothing. After 6 months, we will inspect again and we will tell you what are your faults. Correct that, we will come back and probably you will get a reasonably good grade. Man was not prepared. For a long time, he was not prepared. I said, tell me today. If you allow me to go on for today, then the grade will come. Then in the evening, he said, yes, sir, you people, please go back. We'll pay your airfare and all, and I'll withdraw. Very few people do have that. I still remember we inspected one of the biggest government universities in India, one of the biggest government universities. I won't tell you the name. The university was so bad that hardly 40% of the staff were on attendance that day. So the local big paper wrote, despite the vice chancellor providing free transport and free food, on the NAC inspection day, 42% of the people were present in the university. The vice chancellor is shaking in his pants if you ask him about the staff, because he has no guts, because the staff belong to a union which belongs to the government. Can you believe that? Now this university has autonomy. What kind of autonomy is that? So if you can cross your heart in the morning and say, I shall be honest and I shall be an autonomous college, I think Bhairappa's efforts to give you autonomy will be blessed by God. Please remember this. Two things, Satyam, Ritam, Brihadritam Ugram. And I think, because Mangalore people are supposed to be good, we in South Canara are supposed to be very good people, honest, upright, authentic. Authentic, I like the word authentic. Authentic. And that's the kind of people who hold charge of these universities, the institutions which the university is preparing to give and given autonomy. Just because you have an autonomy, don't think you can do anything. The one autonomous institution in India which has succeeded successfully is Guruji Rabindranath Tagore's Shantiniketan. Because it was started with that motto of doing good to humanity. It was started with the motto of not making money. If you think an educational institution is a money-making business, forget about it. I always tell my colleagues, doctors in corporate hospitals, Hippocrates said, don't try to make money in the sick room. Because sickness is not an industry. But today, sickness industry is the biggest industry. We are waiting for people to get sick so that we can make money out of them. So don't make education another industry. Make education a movement. What is the movement? To convert human beings into real healthy minds and not just wealthy careers. Thank you very much for listening to the ramblings, which I don't think is written in any one of your textbooks. So you'll go home and say, what was this fool talking about? I still remember one day, I was telling people, a friend of mine was lecturing at different place. One day he was in Mangalore University lecturing. And he was staying in the guest house. So he was a parish priest, not the Catholic one, Protestant one. He had a wife at home. So he had come out for a long time, so he wanted to write a letter, so he wrote the letter. But he didn't know where the post office in this campus was. So he was going out, and a couple of urchins were playing, being a Sunday. So he said, where is the post office, my dear? He said, Bunny sir, now Torsteve. They were very happy to show him the post office. He posted that. Coming back, he thought, being a priest, I should do something in return. Paropakarartham. So he wanted to buy some chocolates. He went to a shop there, but he didn't have the wallet. It was in the room. So he told the children, don't worry. This evening I am giving a very important lecture. You can all come free. And then the children said, what are you lecturing about, sir? Oh, me. I am lecturing on a very important thing. I am a priest. I am talking about God and way to heaven. So the children said, sir, how does a man who doesn't know the way to the post office know way to heaven? So that's what you will say at the end of the day. But let me tell you something. If you are authentic, if you are honest, if you are truthful, you will get a beautiful sleep at night. You don't need a peg of whiskey to sleep and a strong cup of coffee in the morning, that to Kumbakonam coffee, to wake up. No, you don't need that. You require a clear conscience. And if you have a clear conscience, that's the best pillow that you can get hold of. Look at the poor people sleeping on the roadside. Clear conscience. They sleep like wooden logs. You and I need a concrete room, a watchman outside, AC inside, and all kinds of, sleep well, pillow, and still you don't get sleep. Because you carry a baggage. Baggage of guilt, baggage of hatred, jealousy, pride, ego. According to Ayurveda, these are the things that kill and not what you eat. For your information's sake, the government of America has taken a U-turn about your eating cholesterol. Cholesterol, they say, is a friendly thing now. You can eat as much as you want it. And they have even gone to the extent of saying it is better to fry with the lard than with the safflower. Did you get that? It took 45 years of struggle. When in 1968 I wrote coconut oil is the best oil, they wanted to kill me. But today, in America, bread is made with coconut oil. They drink coconut oil, they apply coconut oil, they drink coconut, and they eat their cornflakes with coconut milk and not cow's milk. So don't think what is written in the textbook is gospel truth. It changes. But what does not change is your morality, your ethics, and your truth. Swear by that and be autonomous. And Bhairappa will be very happy for giving you autonomy. Thank you very much.